Hey guys, it's Creeply here. Today I wanted to autism all over you. There's going to be upcoming horror projects dripping down your leg when you're done with this video. I would like to note, before we start, for a few of these things, I have not watched the trailers for them to stay spoiler-free, because a lot of trailers just spoil the whole thing, and I tend to avoid that. I intentionally don't watch trailers. So, for those entries, you will see a jack-o'-lantern on screen that will tell you that I have not watched the trailer for them. So, without further ado, here are 15 horror things that are coming out soon, trademark, that I am very excited for, or at least that I think you should know about, in no particular order.
Number 15, Postal Flesh and Wire.
Postal Flesh and Wire is a spin-off of Postal 1. I know quite a few people who watch my videos came here from why Postal 1 is an artistic masterpiece, so I'm sure you know why I'm so excited for this game. A return to psychological, absurd horror is exactly what I've wanted from Postal. There's a reason why Postal 1 is my favorite in the series, and it is wholly because of the horror intrinsic in its concept. There really hasn't been a game to do what Postal did since the original came out. Hatred tried, and while I do love Hatred, the video game, I don't think it succeeded where Postal 1 did in terms of horror. You can expect me to talk about Flesh and Wire when it comes out, in some capacity, although I make no promises right now. The game is coming out in 2027.
Number 14, Nail Crown.
Speaking of Hatred, there is a new first-person shooter game coming out from the developers of Hatred. Nail Crown is a boomer shooter from Destructive Creations, and I'm hoping it delivers on the violence and controversy that Hatred delivered. I haven't made very many videos about them, but boomer shooters are my favorite genre of game. I fucking love boomer shooters. Although I will admit that, while I am excited for this game, I don't think it'll be, amazing, or really all that good to begin with. I don't think Hatred was even that good, at least in terms of optimization, but in terms of how entertaining it was fucking great. I'm hoping Nail Crown will be the same way. Visceral, controversial, hopefully, and entertaining. The game is coming soon, trademark.
Number 13, Vampire on Aisle 6.
Vampire on Aisle 6 is a comic book and folk punk album created by Harley Poe, Joe Whiteford, and I believe the correct way to pronounce this name is Zoe Thorogood. It might be Zoe Thorogood, I'm not sure. If you know me, you know I'm a major Harley Poe fan. This album is coming out near the end of the year, and I am very excited. They released a few of the songs already on Instagram, and I already love them. I'm not a comic book fan, but I am heavily considering buying the comic book. This would be the first comic book I've ever bought. I think the idea of a pseudo-concept album entirely about a vampire, especially from Harley Poe, sounds incredibly interesting. I cannot wait for it to release. The album is coming out later this year.
Number 12, In a Violent Nature 2.
In a Violent Nature 2 is the sequel to one of my favorite horror movies from the 2020s, so far. The first one in the series is an ambient slasher masterpiece that I went into the theater knowing very little about. I was absolutely blown away by it. This movie is a lot like Skinamarink in that I love it, but lots of other people hate it. But that's just because it wasn't made to be for everyone. But it is exactly what I want from a slasher. Ambience, a la Halloween 1978, and really good, violent and visceral kills. It distills the classic format of a slasher and puts you into the killer's perspective, which is what most people go to slashers for. We like the killers and the gore because they're the interesting part of slashers. If you're like me, you don't really care about the plot of a slasher, you watch it for awesome kills, great practical effects, the vibe the movie gives off, and an interesting character doing the killing. In a Violent Nature is all of that, and I know the sequel will be worth watching. Also, the first one has a crazy good credit song. The film is coming soon, trademark.
Number 11, Terrifier in Dead by Daylight, plus Terrifier 4.
Terrifier is coming to Dead by Daylight, as announced at the end of the 10th anniversary livestream. Art the Clown is probably the most entertaining slasher villain to come out in the last 20 years, at least that I've seen. I was in a group with a bunch of other Dead by Daylight fans when it was announced, and everybody flipped their shit when we heard that bike horn. I really, really hope Art has a unique power, but we all know what's going to happen. He uses his magic bag to teleport around the map and uses his famous spear to impale survivors. Also, besides that, we have Terrifier 4 to look forward to. I know I'll be seeing it day one when it releases. It does make me sad that Terrifier 4 will be the last film in the series, but it is Damien's series and he should be able to end it while it's still got life in it. Terrifier is coming to Dead by Daylight in November. Terrifier 4 is coming soon, trademark.
Number 10, Halloween the Game.
Gunn is back at it again with another Dead by Daylight killer. Trust me guys, this time will be different. Needless to say, I don't have a lot of hope for the longevity of this game, but I know for damn sure it'll be fun as shit while it's new, and me and my buddy Henry will most likely be playing it pretty soon after it comes out. I don't know much about it gameplay-wise, but I have heard very good things from the people who have already played it. I am very glad, at least judging by my 5-second Google search, that they let you queue and play exclusively as Mikey Myers, because my main gripe with Friday the 13th, the game, was the inability to play as exclusively Jason. And you know I'm always praying on the downfall of Daddy DBD. I hope this game does well and isn't subject to neglect and shut down in a year. You either die a young ASIM or live long enough to see yourself become dead by dash slop. The game is releasing September 8th.
Number 9, Gremlins 3.
Holy shit! Gremlins 3 is real! Gremlins 2 is like my second favorite movie! Holy shit, Gremlins 3! I'm so fucking happy! Gremlins 3, let's fucking go! Coming soon, trademark.
Number 8, Terrible Lizards.
Terrible Lizards is an upcoming mascot horror platformer game. Now, hearing that, it does sound like something I would absolutely fucking hate. But the redeeming qualities outweigh the downsides in terms of my hype in this project. It's being published by Behavior, you know, good start. It seems to be inspired by my favorite dark ride, Jurassic Jungle Boat Ride in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which I have never ridden, but it has the absolute aura to carry it to top place in my mind. And on top of all that, it's being made by the people behind JT Music, like the guys who made the Minecraft Mob Rap, and lots of other nerdcore songs from my childhood. I'm quite interested in this game, and I'm very curious to see what they do with the concept. The game is coming soon, TM.
Number 7, The Creep Tapes Season 3.
The Creep Tapes has a new season coming out later this year. Creep is a found footage horror series centering itself around the strange and uncomfortable. I am a massive fan of the Creep series. I find its sense of sexuality and depravity to be utterly fascinating, and John Creep, Peach Fuzz, is an amazingly interesting character. The Creep Tapes are more comedic than the original Creep movies, but I am still a massive fan of whatever the Creep series pumps out. I don't think there's a bad episode in this show so far, and I think the Creep movies are some of the best, if not the best, found-footage horror movies I've ever seen. If you haven't watched Creep 1 and Creep 2, you are doing yourself a disservice. Go fix that. Coming soon, TM.
Number 6, VHS SCP.
VHS is getting a new entry based around the collaborative writing project SCP. VHS is the found-footage anthology franchise. This is awesome news. Not only are we getting a new film based around SCP, which I have a passing interest in, we're also getting another new VHS movie. I'm a big fan of the VHS franchise. The last entry was freaking phenomenal, and I think one based around SCP could be very interesting. It makes me wonder though, what kind of SCPs they'll pick for the shorts in the anthology. I hope some well-known ones and some lesser-known ones both get their own chance in the spotlight. And who knows, this could lead to interesting licenses for things like a Dead by Daylight SCP chapter, or maybe even SCP merch in like Spirit Halloween or whatever. That would be neat. The film is slated for release in 2027.
Number 5, Stranger Things, Tales from 85 Season 2.
Stranger Things, Tales from 85 has a new season coming out this year. The first season of this animated series was much less horror-focused than the live-action Stranger Things series. While it's definitely aimed at a younger audience than the main Stranger Things series, I still found the first season very entertaining. I will definitely be watching the second season when it comes out. The new girl, Nikki, is a great character, as is to be expected from Stranger Things, and I'm very interested to see where they take her character in the next season. The new season is coming out October 29th.
Number 4, The Stalker 2.
The Stalker 2 is a Roblox game, and it's a sequel to my favorite Roblox game of all time. You've seen it on this channel before. It is an asymmetrical horror game where the Stalker is an almost invisible monster that hunts down the Combine using abilities and his claws, while the Combine tries to kill it. Unfortunately, the current newest iteration of the Stalker is pretty low on players at most times, so of course I cannot fucking wait for the sequel to come out and bring new life into the series. You can follow updates on the game by going to Maximum ADHD's YouTube channel, link in the description. Coming soon, TM.
Number 3, Camp Crystal Lake.
Camp Crystal Lake is the Friday the 13th television series, following Pamela Voorhees before her killing spree in the first film. Spoiler alert, sorry. This is 40 years old. Apparently A24 is making it, and honestly I am quite excited to see what they do with it. A more psychological take on the Friday the 13th series is an interesting one to be certain. I also wonder if Jason will even appear in it, given that he would still presumably be Swamp Boy Jason at this time. It's coming out October 15th.
Number 2. They Speak from the Abyss.
They Speak from the Abyss is an abstract dungeon crawler indie RPG focusing itself on psychological horror, and is set in a very visually fascinating hellscape. I first heard about this game after watching Markiplier play the demo in his 3 Scary Games series, episode number 87, linked below. I absolutely love pretty much every depiction of hell or a hellscape you can imagine. As for hell itself, in real life I believe it to be a very damaging concept, but in fiction I find it utterly fascinating. Whether it's agony or I have no mouth and I must scream, I am utterly enraptured by depictions of hell. This game is no exception. I will say that I don't know if I trust the release date of 2027, because the game's release date has been pushed back like 2 times. But I know when it does release, I'll most likely play it. I have not played the demo, so I don't know if the gameplay would be my style, but the art style is absolutely amazing, and I am very excited to hear more about it. The game is coming out in 2027.
Honorable mentions.
Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Orlando is having a Stranger Things and Hellraiser haunted house. I will be going. Hellraiser Revival is a Hellraiser video game, enough said. Coming out October 8th. On the other hand, there is one non-horror thing that I'm very excited for. Hope you don't mind a brief talk about it. It's Always Sunny is getting a new season, coming out very soon. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is my favorite show, so I'm always hyped when something new drops from them. The comedy in this series just builds with time as we see the characters grow into an unimaginable mesh of chaos. Coming out August 17th.
Number 1. Curry Barker's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, plus other Texas Chainsaw projects.
This entry is the reason I made this video. Curry Barker's Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the next film in my favorite horror franchise of all time, and I have a feeling it could change the game of horror. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but just hear me out. This film is being directed by Curry Barker, the director of Obsession, and promises to take an uncomfortable look at the family dynamics of the Sawyers, bringing back the root of the horror of the character of Leatherface, and, at least in my opinion, has the chance to create a new renaissance of horror akin to the likes of Saw or Scream. I saw Obsession and was absolutely blown away by how scary the concepts presented in the film were. If Curry can replicate that feeling, he could spawn a new age of Texas Chainsaw movies and a new wave of horror in general. Leatherface has always been my favorite horror character, hell, my favorite fictional character of all time, for years now, and it's partially because of how scary the concept of him is, being a mentally disabled killer forced by his family to commit heinous crimes. Bringing Leatherface back from, in the more modern movies, just a hulking killing machine to actually being his original self is exactly what I want from a Texas Chainsaw film. I have faith in Curry Barker to deliver on the promise of a Texas Chainsaw movie. I think this could top the original, which is insane. Curry is a promising young talent, and I think if he can pull it off, this movie will be one of the greats. It will at least be the 3rd or 4th best in the series. We're also getting a Texas Chainsaw TV show, and now even a separate animated film. Texas Chainsaw is doing well. I'm happy. And, well, that about does it. Thank you for watching. Honestly, I don't care if you hit the buttons or whatever. I just want to talk to people about horror stuff. Leave a comment about whatever horror thing you're excited for, and I'll do my best to heart all of them and reply to them. See you all next time. That's it. That's the end of the video. Number
8. Terrible Lizards.
in terms of my hype in this project. Number 3. Camp Crystal Lake. Camp Crystal Lake is the Friday the 13th television series coming out October 15th. Fuck.